The villagers called it Black Hollow, a stretch of dense, suffocating trees where no birds sang and no animals dared to tread. It was cursed, they said, a place where the dead whispered and the trees drank blood. Those who entered never returned, at least, not in one piece. But fear was never enough to stop the foolish. On the first night of the full moon, a group of hunters ventured in. They were men of steel and gunpowder, their faces hardened by war and hunger. Tales of lost riches and forgotten ruins hidden in the forest had drawn them like moths to flame. Their torches barely pierced the darkness. The trees loomed like twisted sentinels, their bark gnarled into shapes resembling screaming faces. The deeper they went, the quieter the world became, as if the forest was swallowing sound itself. And then the first scream came.
The forest takes its toll.
The hunter at the rear, Jonas, vanished without a sound. One moment he was there breathing heavily, his boots crunching the dead leaves. The next, the space where he stood was empty, silent. No struggle, no rustling, no sign of what had taken him. They turned, weapons drawn, scanning the darkness. Nothing, just a shifting fog, thick as decay, curling through the branches like fingers. Then came the smell, rot, blood, something old and wrong. A second scream. Another was gone this time, Bran. His torch lay sputtering in the dirt, flickering weakly. The remaining men ran.
The forest hungers.
The trees seemed to shift around them, closing in. Their breaths came ragged and panicked, boots slipping in the mud. The path they'd taken was gone. Something moved in the shadows, a figure tall, thin, wrong. Its limbs cracked as it stepped forward, the shape barely distinguishable from the trees around it. Its head tilted, unnaturally slow, as if examining its prey. Then it lunged. The hunters fired, but the bullets barely seemed to matter. The thing ripped into flesh, tearing muscle from bone. Blood sprayed the bark, soaking into the roots. The forest drank it in. Only one remained, Elias.
The last survivor.
Elias stumbled through the trees, heart pounding, lungs burning. Behind him, the shadows shifted, following. He could hear the wet squelch of something dragging itself after him. He broke through into a clearing, a place where the moonlight touched the ground. For a moment, he thought he was safe. Then he saw it. A tree, larger than the rest. Its trunk was made of bodies, fused together, faces frozen in silent screams. Hands, half-formed, reached from the bark. Mouths twitched, whispering. Elias stepped back. Roots coiled around his ankles. The last thing he felt was the forest pulling him down into the earth, into the roots, into the thing that had been waiting for him all along.
The ritual of blood.
His screams never left the clearing. They were swallowed by the forest, absorbed into the ancient, hungry roots. Then, silence. The tree pulsed. The faces twisted, reshaping. And where there was once empty bark, a new face appeared. Elias' face. His mouth stretched wide in terror. Eyes forever frozen in the moment he realized his fate. The forest sighed. The whispers among the trees grew louder, hungrier. This was the way of Black Hollow. It did not simply consume, it replaced. Each soul it took became part of it. The lost wanderers woven into its roots, its branches, its essence. But Black Hollow was never truly satisfied.
The village's secret.
By morning, there was no sign of the hunters. The villagers woke in silence, knowing what had happened. They never spoke of it. They never warned travelers. Because they couldn't. For centuries, the village and the forest had made a pact. Blood for peace, sacrifices for survival. If no one ventured in, the trees would come for the village instead. And so, every few years, a new story was spread of hidden treasures, of lost ruins, of fortunes buried in the woods. Enough to tempt the desperate and the foolish, a new offering to Black Hollow. And as the full moon rose again, the forest waited, silent, watching, hungry.